All right. Welcome back, everyone. I'm going to mix things up this week and we are going to have some fun on this episode. I have Meagan here with me. She works alongside me inside Brave and previously worked with me one-on-one. And I also asked her to be my assistant for my 4-day BRAVE-cation healing retreat. So we were chatting and figured that we would hop on and do a retreat recap, essentially. Yeah. So I want to talk about like themes that came up like with everyone, what they were struggling with, what some of the breakthroughs were around. And we want to share some fun things that popped up along the journey. And yeah, just some of the takeaways. Anything else?
No, I just love that we're talking about this because it was such an incredible experience, and I'm still just in awe of all of it. So I'm so excited to do this episode.
Oh, thank you. It was so much fun. So much fun. I'm just going to say right off the bat, this is my fifth 4-day BRAVE-cation retreat. And last year, I came off of it saying, this is the best thing I have ever facilitated. So I had this like small little voice going in this year, like, can I top that? Like, I don't know. Can I do better than the best? And I'm here to say yes.
Mhm.
And it was not just me, it was everyone that attended as well. And so I'm going to share some of the things that were unique about this group of women that I think really paved the way for an incredible experience. Before I do you want to just talk about some of the fun things that
Yes.
also threw a wrench in the plan?
Yes. Oh my heck. It was
Oh
so
my
fun. Can we
gosh.
talk about the Harry Potter room?
Yes, 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 yes. Let's start there. So, and jump in when I'm telling this story. So,
Okay.
I rent this beautiful home in Reunion, Florida, Central Florida, if you don't know. And I see all these pictures online and it says it's got 7 bedrooms. So I sell enough seats for 9 women because two of the rooms have 2 beds. Meagan and I get there Thursday morning, right? We're setting everything up, getting the food ready, getting the gift bags ready. And then we are looking around the house and we count 6 rooms. And
Yep.
I'm like, wait a second, Meagan, we're missing 2 beds. We're missing a room. And then I don't remember. Were you like, are you sure?
Yeah, I was like, let's go look again. I feel like we might have checked 3 times.
We
And
did.
sure enough, 7 beds, 6 bedrooms, 7 beds. We were like,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do?
What are we going to do? We have nowhere for 2 women to sleep. Now, I just want to pause here and ask you, if you were in this situation, how would you handle this? Like, would you go into fight or flight? Would your heart be pounding? Like, would you be like, oh my God? So we were pretty calm. I was really impressed with us. We're like, okay, well, we're going to figure it out. And we're like, we did 3 laps. We're like up the stairs, down the stairs. We're looking in like all these odds and end places. Like, where is this
Yeah,
door to
the
this
house
room?
was a maze. Like it really was like a lot of different doors and ways you could go. So we were like, okay, we've checked this. There was like a door behind the screen in the theater room. We're like, maybe that's it. But it wasn't.
It wasn't. It wasn't. So we go
No.
downstairs. I pull up the app that has the house, and sure enough, it says 7 bedrooms. And we're like, okay. So we're scrolling through the photos, and then Meagan sees that the 7th bedroom is a Harry Potter room. So she's like, this room, it doesn't even look like it's in the same house. And I was like,
Right.
you're right.
Yeah, it had like a cathedral, I don't know, that door, like a
Yeah.
different dome shaped or like, yeah, door.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not in this house. This must be a mistake.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't notice that. These women, they're going to have to, they can't stay in this house. We're going to figure that out. And then all of a sudden, Meagan, you're at the front door of the home. And what do you see?
Yeah, so at the front door they had like one of those house layouts.
Yeah.
and like of the first and second floor. So I was looking at it and I was like, okay, one bedroom, two bedroom. And I was like, oh my gosh, there is a room on the other side of the garage, right? And I just remember that you ran like to the garage. We were so excited. We're like, what the heck?
We are sprinting across the house. We bust into the former garage, which is a game room. And then I see
Mhm.
what looks like a bookshelf on the opposite side.
Yeah.
And I go up to it and I've got my hands on it. Like, do I push it?
Yeah, no doorknob, not a door, really. It was just a part
Yeah.
of the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I push it open. And oh my word, it is the best Harry Potter room I've ever seen in my life. Like they
Yeah.
went all out, all
Yeah.
out. I've got some pictures on Instagram if you're curious. But
Mm.
now, then this might have been one of those you had to see it moments. But I wish there was a candid camera because Megan and I literally, we are like jumping up and down like little kids and like hugging each
Yeah.
other,
Oh
probably
my,
squealing. Like,
yes. It was one of like the best moments of my whole life because it was just like so much like, oh, like, okay, there's not two more beds. And then it was just that excitement of like the map and like, there is another room.
there's another room. Yeah, that
It was like
contrast
a,
between let
yeah,
down to like cloud nine, we found it. Oh, anyways, that was super, super cool to
it
find
was
this.
so
And we
cool.
happen to have
Yeah.
two huge Harry Potter lovers. So they got to stay in what they ended up calling the dungeon Harry Potter room.
Oh, it was so good. I
I'm
love that
so,
story.
so glad that was actually the seventh bedroom. Okay. So now to dive into other moments at the retreat, I just wanted to give you all just like a few of the topics that came up that the women there were struggling with. Before the retreat, I had everyone set intentions for what they wanted to get out of it and then just come with an open heart. And so, yeah, some of the things that came up were, and you might be like, wow, this is like a big spread. Body image, things, not feeling good about themselves, kind of feeling physically disgusting, feeling unlikable, challenges in childhood, the way that they were raised, illnesses in their family, and trying to navigate that. Their relationships with their partners, their husbands specifically, not feeling as emotionally close as they desired. Um, what else?
Yeah, those are the big ones that I was thinking of too. And just I remember a couple of people sharing like things that they felt like no one else would relate to, but then they would
Yes.
share it and we'd be like, me too, like that happened often. That people,
Often,
yeah.
often you're right. Oh, I remember another one too. Struggling with like, am I doing a good enough job as a mom? With challenges in their children, big emotions, in their teens, anxiety and depression, and like navigating that. And then like a lack of safety, for example, getting negative feedback and how that showed up. And
Mhm.
I'm going to circle back to what you just said. Multiple people said, I didn't think anybody would understand. I felt like so alone in this. And over and over and over again, the other women would validate they did and they felt those things.
Yeah, I just got chills because it was just so, it's such a neat experience to know like I'm not alone. Like these people feel the same way that I do. And it's just so amazing to be able to talk about it and
Mhm.
have
Yep.
that understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know, do you want to share anything about what was different than what you expected? Like anything unique from your perspective versus like what you anticipated and then what transpired?
Yeah, I love that question. I didn't know what to expect. I just thought it would, I knew it would be amazing because you were there and all the work that I've ever done with you is incredible. But I think I was just nervous because I didn't know any of these women. I didn't know them personally. I didn't know how it would feel to be vulnerable, and just what I experienced was just such like I felt so welcomed and so loved, and it was just so like almost like I had known them forever. And it
Mm.
was just really easy to have a lot of openness, and the amount of change that can happen like in an instant is incredible. Like it's like someone just takes like a blinder off of your eyes, and it's just amazing how fast like breakthroughs
Mhm.
and change can happen, and like how deep it can go too.
Yeah, yeah. And I imagine that some of the people listening are like, but how? Because so many people are used to a therapy model, like talk therapy specifically, where you're going session after session, a couple sessions a month, years. Many people are in therapy for years, decades. And I use different modalities to bring things from your subconscious into your conscious mind so that you can shift out of those things. So at the retreat, we did exercises where we're literally like moving through the room, and I'm walking you through specific prompts to bring things into your conscious mind. We gave each other feedback. We did mini lecturettes where, like, I know content that is going to help people have a shift in perspective and breakthroughs and feel more empowered. And
Yeah.
we did guided imageries and that culmination all together. And these are all based in the three pillars that I've talked about on the podcast numerous times, where we have all of the work is the foundation of it is these three pillars of absolute acceptance, activate choice, and analyze data. And that there's a sweet spot when you have all of that mixed in with these different modalities.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
Meagan, yeah, I loved how you said you felt like you knew them forever. So if I were listening to this, I think I'd feel skeptical. I think I would, because that just is not my experience out in the world.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not by accident. One of the things that I do is I have a structured exercise on the first night that intentionally brings people to a deep place where they have the opportunity to show up with openness and vulnerability and share their hearts. And what tends to happen is that people feel very close after going through that exercise.
Yes, yes, for sure. And everyone is so different. I have to say, it was like the same
Yeah.
people, same
Yeah.
personalities. Like everyone was so different. But that exercise specifically was so amazing in just like opening it up and helping me and others to be vulnerable, I think, and to just share pieces of their life and how things have affected them. It was really incredible.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I love that you got to participate in many of the experiences too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What came up a couple times is people said this is like such a unique space where I feel fully supported and seen and understood. And I feel like I can be my real self. And so I'll add to that that a lot of people notice after showing up in this space that they are pretending a lot of the times and not being their authentic self. And that here at a BRAVE-cation healing retreat, you don't have to pretend. You can
Right.
show up as you and kind of let it all hang out. And if that feels terrifying, I want to comfort you that while it might feel terrifying, it feels soothing is the word that comes to me too,
Uh,
because and maybe you can add a little bit to this, but what I'm going to say is that I hold people in a way that the response from them is that they've never been held before. Um,
yeah.
I You're not going to see this in the photos that we share on Instagram or on the website because people are almost always crying in the photos, but I get down and I kneel in front of them and I coach them through the exact moment they're in, and it's unique and specific to each person what they need to hear. And I'll just pause here and see if you have anything to add to that.
Yes. So with that specifically, and I've told you this before, but watching you work is like what I imagine it would be like watching like Da Vinci in
Mm,
his like glory years. Like it's just like it was just like watching him make a piece of art.
yeah.
Just the way that you are able to talk to people and just help them like in the most beautiful way, like share what they need to share and give them like what they need without like force or anything like that. It's just like such a loving environment and you're able to really reach them on such a deep level. And it really is like watching like a master at work. It's incredible. You were
Thank
just
you.
meant to do it. Yes.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Several times during the retreat, I was like, I have the best job ever. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that. And when you said that earlier, I was just like, I don't know. I was kind of like that mind blown emoji to hear that comparison. And I don't even know when I started doing that, but I think I just follow my intuition so much now that I just
Yeah.
knew that that was what people needed.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
it looked a little different for every person because that's what they needed, you know?
I really try to follow that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell it's so cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking about this group and I want to share some of the things that made these women unique and special and really created this beautiful weekend because even though you'll see people give me credit, everyone there matters just as much. The way that they showed up, if they didn't show up the way that they showed up, it would have
Mhm.
been a completely different experience. I can still be the same person, but if someone keeps their armor on and doesn't allow themselves to be seen and doesn't open up, then it would be different.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that was really unique about this group is they had openness from moment one, essentially, or exercise one, I'll say, because when they first get to the home, everyone gets a full body massage. So, there's just more like winding down time there. But from the first exercise, showing up with a great deal of openness, not holding things back, saying things, even if they were scared, even if they felt like they might be judged, even if they felt like nobody would understand, they let it out and didn't hold back tears. And I
Yeah.
know, Meagan, you don't have a comparison, to other BRAVE-cations, but is there anything else that stands out about this group to you, like as you were with them and witnessed them and experienced them?
Yeah, along the lines of what you were just talking about with openness, I feel like everyone was so willing to be open because they saw like the benefit of it. So like someone would be open, for example, and have such like a breakthrough or such like a feeling of like calm inside, and they'd be like, and then someone would watch that and they would think, okay, like this is scary, but I'm going to do it because it's like, look what they're experiencing, this other person that was willing to be open. And I saw that over and over and over again, just that willingness to be vulnerable, even though it was scary with this group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I have like a couple quotes written down from the retreat, and those are coming to mind right now. One person told us, like, outside of this retreat, she would have held some feedback that she received in and then been in a bad mood all weekend. And if she was at home, she probably would have been like showing up maybe a little critical of her husband and her kids. And she said, instead, I went to bed with a sense of peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said, like, you guiding me through those emotions showed me how quickly I can process it. And I think that's really important because sometimes people think, oh, I'm the type of person that I have to like rehash things and work through things. And it takes me a long time to. And if you
Mhm.
feel that way, you don't have the right tools. You
Yes.
you don't.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I can give them to you.
Oh, I love that. It's so true. Yeah, just having those tools and knowing how to use them is it just fast just keeps coming to mind. Like changes can happen so fast and so effectively.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one is going to come across odd, but I'm going to share another one. One person said, I never felt this serene before. I didn't know it was possible. And this is the part that you might be like, huh? But I'll caveat it after I share it. She said, I didn't know it was possible without being on opioids or drugs to feel that serene. And she described it as like all the tabs in her head were closed. She didn't have like all of this chatter and mental noise. And the opioids thing was because she had some major surgeries. So she had been on medication in the past and had that experience, but thought it was just a unique experience to that. And it's not. It's possible to feel serene and fully present and not be ruminating and rehashing, even for people that never experienced that before.
Right. People think that it's their personality to just feel that anxiousness, but
Mm-hmm.
it can totally change. And you don't have to feel like all your tabs in your head are open. It can, if you have those tools, it can definitely like have that calm feeling. You can have it
Yes.
inside. Yeah.
It's possible for you too.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Oh, and you know what I think it's worth talking about on here. Every single retreat that I host, at least one person and sometimes multiple people contact me ahead of time, telling me that they feel so nervous and so anxious to come. And I know that if a couple reach out, that there's probably more that are also feeling it that don't say anything. And one of the women, while she was there, I think this was like on day 3, she said, I was scared to come to the retreat. Like I had a call with her in advance too. And she said, I got way more than I expected. It feels magical. And I think you resonated with that too, because you do want to tell what you told your husband, Meagan, a little bit before.
Yeah, just the magical
How you
experience.
how you were like questioning it. And he was like, come on, Meagan.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So I was also so nervous to go. I mean, it was just a whole new experience for me. I haven't traveled a lot. And so just even that experience, like getting on a plane by myself and coming and being with women I'd never met before, the whole thing was just scary. And I was like to my husband, I said, I just want to stay home. Like I don't want to go. And he said, Meagan, like your future self wants to be all of these things. Like you need to go and do this for your future self. And I talk about my future self a lot to him. And I was
Yes.
like, you're right. Thank you for the reminder. And
Yeah.
it's just a reminder to me that when I can do things that are scary, that there's always something amazing on the other side of it. I just have to get through that fearful feeling. And it was also something that I would never have thought to experience, like just the magic of all of it. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that pairs well with the last imagery that we did. And I think did you say that one was your favorite part?
yeah, it
Do you
was the
want to
most
talk about
impactful
it?
for me. Yes. And, when I hear imagery, I've had some really amazing imageries before, but I just didn't know how amazing this would be. Because I remember I was like doing something in the kitchen, and you're like, no, you're going to want to come
Yeah.
and do this one with us. And I was like, okay, like I'm down for it. I want to do it. And I just wasn't expecting like how impactful it would be. So before the retreat and for months, probably even years, I've just had this not close relationship with my husband, like emotionally. And it was just on the forefront of my mind, hoping that I could somehow figure this out. And I thought, it's probably not going to happen during the retreat. I probably won't figure it
Yeah.
out then. And the last imagery that we did, you just had us imagine like something that we feared. And so I picked that because it is a fear that I just want to be close to him.
Yeah.
And you said to just like imagine the fear as you said to imagine it as smoke. And anyway, I won't go through like all the details of it, but
Yeah.
and to just imagine it as even our friend, and that really like shifted for me. And then on the other side of that, and there was a lot more to it, but
Yeah.
um you just said, "Okay, like what's on the other side? Like after you pass through the fear, like what is waiting for you on the other side?" And it just hit me. And I think I even had like this audible, like, like, oh, this is because it
Yeah.
was so beautiful. But my husband was standing there, just like running to me with open arms, just like full of light. And it was just so cool. And I did not expect that to happen. So it's just really like guided me thinking, okay, like if I want this relationship to happen, like I can make it happen. Like I have all the tools that I need to get through the fear that's holding me back. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. I got a little teary-eyed listening to that at the retreat and then now just re-listening to you talk about it.
yeah.
And both of those things that you talked about, like, what if fear is not your opponent? Like, you have not just you, but everyone listening, like, you have been feeling like it is. What if fear is your friend? What if fear is the very thing that guides you to being brave and being courageous and having everything that you want? What if
Mhm.
fear is the doorway and all you have to do is open the door and walk through? And sometimes it takes these experiences where we can bring images into our mind from our subconscious to really unlock it. Because it's one thing to hear me say this, and it's a whole nother thing to experience it and to know the truth
Mhm.
through that experience.
Yeah. And when you say truth, that's something that stood out from this retreat too. It just felt like so much truth and like knowledge, like deep inside me that I know was just like
Yeah.
coming out. And I know that happened for a lot of other people too.
Yeah. As you reflect on it, is there anything else, I don't know, favorite parts or things that stood out to you?
I, it's just people have asked me that since I've been home in this last couple of days, and it's really hard to put words to it, honestly, because it was just so like, it's like nothing else I've ever experienced before in the most like beautiful way. That
Yeah.
when you ask me for like a favorite moment, I'm like, oh, there were just so many, like just the relationships with the other women and the feeling of like total acceptance and like people understood me and just like the love and the hope.
Mhm.
And I don't want to say easiness, but like just knowing that there's answers for me that are easy if I choose to use them. Like almost like I could solve any problem.
Yes. Oh, I love that you said that. Yes.
Yeah,
Life in that way, life does not have to be hard. And it feels hard for most people.
yeah.
And when you have the right tools and you have these shifts, it can be easy.
Yes. And you give us
Yes.
such amazing tools. Like I'm just thinking of even the payoff
Yeah.
survey is one of the tools that you have us use. And it
Yes.
just really like helps you focus on the root cause of
Hmm.
something so that you can have these dramatic shifts. And it's just, I keep saying the word magic because that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because I was never given anything else like this. And I know the world isn't given these tools either. And so to just have them, it's just feels like such a gift.
Thank you. You're not the only one that described it as magical. Oh,
Yeah. I felt like you were Oprah, where she's like, and you get a car, and you get a car. But it was like, and you get a breakthrough, and you get a breakthrough. And I'm like, I'll take the breakthrough over the car any day. Oh, it's, yeah, it's incredible.
thank you for saying that. Oh, I appreciate you so much. I think
Yes.
that's a pretty good recap. I don't know, I guess before I end this today, I wanted to share just a few comments that I've received afterwards from women who attended. I had three women who attended for the third time, two women who attended for the second time, and then the other five came for the first time. And one of the women who came for a second time, she said, as a return person, I felt like I got even more out of the retreat, which I think speaks to the value and how many layers we have to us that we can go deeper and deeper, and that these concepts and these tools for not just you, because other people said just are like magic. And I got a message from one woman this morning and she said this is her third one. She said the experience just keeps getting better and better. And she melted my heart. She's like, I'm in awe of you, just how you've evolved and grown and continue to level up. It's so freaking inspiring. And she said, I thank God for you in this life, for me, and for all you impact um, others. And then said that my girls are blessed to have me. And just reading this actually reminded me of something I wanted to share. Um, Something unique that made this group unique is their openness to spirituality. And I'm not going to get into too much detail here. It's not, for me, it's different than like having a religious stance, and it's just being open to what the universe is doing every day. God, the universe, um, it is always working in your favor, and you have an opportunity to see what is the lesson here? And so I gave an example early on at the retreat about a shift that I made from feeling in my own family, feeling frustrated and asking myself constantly, like, why did I get these parents? Why did I get this family? Why can't I just have a loving family? I want those on the Hallmark card. Like, I can't even buy these cards because of the emotional immaturity that was present in the home that I grew up in. And I resisted it for decades. And actually, I guess I'm just going to go into it right now. So I fought that. And as you listen to what I'm about to say next, I just want you to ask yourself, could this be even 1% true? I got to the point where I fully embodied one of the pillars that I teach, and it's called activate choice. And I asked myself the question, what if I chose them? What if I chose my family? What if I had this? We don't know if this is true. What if I had this handshake with God before being born? And I said, these are the things that I want to learn in this lifetime. And he said, this is the family to help you learn them. What if all of the things that I hated from my past perfectly gave me the lessons, the opportunities to learn the lessons so that I could do this work every single day, so that I could guide hundreds and thousands of women to heal? And I believe that wholeheartedly. And so I shared that toward the beginning of the retreat. And in that way, I consider myself very spiritual. I don't consider myself religious. And yeah, that was just incorporating kind of like an undertone of feeling like, how can I feel more supported by God? How can I feel more supported by the universe? And you'll notice I don't advertise like this spiritual piece, but everyone who was present was a perfect fit, and it aligned in that way, even though they were drastically different in terms of background, where they lived, their current experiences, their families. Is that how you saw it too, Meagan?
Yeah, yeah, it was, even though we all had, different beliefs, whether it was God or the universe or whatever it was
Yeah.
just such a theme throughout
Yeah.
all of it. Like when thoughts were shared after an imagery, for example, or something like that, it was incredible how much like spirituality was like put into all of
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
So I wanted to share that because I think that's an important piece. Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to go from here. Yeah, I hope that gave everybody listening a good recap of the retreat and kind of immersed you in the experience from the beginning, where we lost a room, to how it was to be there. And if you can picture yourself there, I just want to share with you that you can get on the wait list. You will be the first to know when our next retreat is announced, and you will receive a special gift for being on the wait list if you choose to move forward. I'll put this link in the show notes, but if you want to go ahead and type it into your browser, it's www.brave-method.com/retreat waitlist. So that's www.brave-method.com/retreat-waitlist. And I cannot wait to see you there.